Welcome. I hope you're all well today. I thought I'd pop on and do another wee live stream. Actually, I'm hoping that this might be a regular Wednesday lunchtime thing. Did you enjoy the wee countdown there? The countdown there was courtesy of Church Media Drop. And I'll just drop in the link there for you, churchmediadrop.com. And there's lots of interesting free resources there, video clips, countdowns, images, and so on. It's well worth a look. And many of you are hopefully familiar with Canva, canva.com. It is a very good app, web-based, and there's apps as well that allow you to create images for Facebook posts, for short video clips, long video clips perhaps. The annual subscription will normally cost over £100, but the lovely people at Canva make it available to non-profits, charities, and I had recently signed up for an account. It was a seamless, painless process, and you're then entitled to share the charity account with up to 10 users. Have you got 10 folk helping you with your church tech? If you have any particular comments or questions, then do please drop them into the chat, the live chat on YouTube. It's all change at the moment, isn't it? With different government and church regulations, restrictions, changes in how we can be in our church building with larger gatherings together. I wonder what has changed for you recently. I was aware when I was looking at the Twilio statistics, Twilio, the facility that allows a recorded message to be received on telephone. And early in lockdown, there were a number of folk who were able to use that. But I found that as people are returning to on-site, to the church buildings, that there hasn't in fact been any use of the phone-in service. And so that's something that we've decided here that we drop as we allow other things to pick up as we move forward with our different forms of continuing ministry. So what has changed for you recently as we seek to be the church in these ever-changing times? What has changed for you, and what would you like to see change? Last Sunday, when the lectionary readings took us to Solomon and to wisdom and to that question that God brought to Solomon in a dream, what's the one thing that you would want me to give to you? We were thinking about wisdom, and I was recalling the prayer attributed to Reinhold Niebuhr, the American theologian. It's a condensed version that has withstood the test of time. It comes from a larger piece of prose, but in essence, God grant me the sincerity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. What are some of the things that you accept cannot change? What are some of the things that you know that you can be a part of bringing about the change? What has changed? What do you want to see change as we continue to journey forward? Have any of you been at an on-site meeting recently? Maybe some of the meetings that have been taking place on Zoom and Teams are beginning to be able to be happening in person. I hope also that many of those meetings will continue to be online and that we're not going to have the necessity to be driving to meetings and taking that commute time. I've been thinking recently about how one of the things we can maybe change is how we do our meetings, whether online or on site. Have you ever been at a meeting and after it you've thought, that could have been an email? That really wasn't worth taking the time to engage in it. And I think we need to develop a greater sense of engagement in the things that we are discussing, talking about when we meet. So often what happens, I think, is that there's an idea and someone presents it, and either folks say, no, that's not going to work, we haven't done it like that, that's not how we do things here, and there's a confrontation that is set up and we need to negotiate that. Or, and this probably happens more frequently around church meetings, that somebody presents their idea, their opinions, their feelings, and folk think, oh, he obviously knows what he's talking about, and there's no discussion, and it's just accepted, but there's no sense of ownership. Buy-in, a phrase we sometimes hear. We tend to buy things that other people have made. I think rather than buy-in, we need to be thinking about co-creating, creating ideas, projects, thoughts that we and our leadership teams, folk around the church, feel that they are a part of it. Over the years, I've often read some of the material by Edward de Bono. Edward de Bono died a month or so ago, and he wrote many wonderful things. This book, How to Have a Beautiful Mind, one of his many books that he leaves. One of the things that he left to humanity was the phrase lateral thinking. We've all heard that one, lateral thinking. He also coined the phrase parallel thinking. And when he was talking about parallel thinking, he was thinking about how, as I've outlined, so often we have a meeting and there's just this splurge, this melting pot of feelings and opinions and the negatives from the naysayers, it'll no work, and there's the blue sky thinkers, the creative folk who are dreaming dreams and trying to process all that in some kind of meaningful way. Edward de Bono said that rather than doing that all at once, parallel thinking would take us to, okay, for a moment, let's all be creative. Let's all splurge out the alternative ideas, the different thoughts that we might have around this idea, problem, whatever it is that's being discussed. And then after a time of creativity, then it's a time to switch gear or to switch hats, as he talks about. Edward de Bono brought to us the 6 hats. And each of them represents a different kind of thinking. And rather than having them all at once in a mishmash, he suggests that we take time. Take time all to gather together the data, the hard facts, information, the background that's required to whatever is being thought about. To take time with feelings, hunches, emotions, gut reaction, and to allow everyone to express those things without any need to explain themselves, but just to get all these feelings, emotions around the subject out there. The red hat. The green hat, green for creativity, for growth, for the new ideas, the possibilities, innovation. And if we allow that to happen while we're all in parallel with our green hat on, thinking creatively, we don't get interrupted with the thoughts, oh, no work, we tried that one before. But we give time for green hat thinking, for creativity. There is also a time for the black hat to think about the risks, the negatives, the pitfalls, the things that we need to be cautious about. And everyone together, in parallel, with a black hat on, thinking around those things, the cons, as opposed to the pros, the benefits, the positives. The yellow hat. Yellow hat thinking when everyone has an opportunity to say, yeah, you know, this could really, we're really onto something. And actually, have we thought that this would help some other part of the organisation, the sequence of events? Altogether, yellow hat thinking. The blue hat, often to be worn by the facilitator, the moderator, the chair of a meeting. Blue hat thinking about the process, thinking about how we control our thoughts, our process, how we facilitate reaching good decisions and how we take next steps forward. I've been thinking a lot about the 6 hats and how that might be a tool that can be used to engage people meaningfully in local church leadership, presbytery, national things as well. So often in apparently brainstorming sessions, what we allow to happen is for the loudest voices to be heard first. And then everyone else just kind of sits back and he says, well, so-and-so's obviously thought about this one. We need to find ways to allow everyone to have time to think their thoughts. I've often tried to begin a brainstorming session by saying, let's all take a few moments to think around this area. Jot something down. Think and hold on to your thoughts. Hear your voice. And you know what often happens is that someone will say, just before we do that, can I just say, I'm not quite sure, are you suggesting that if someone had an idea like, I think, no, that's precisely what I didn't want to happen, to hear your opinion before we've all had a chance to think. Google Edward de Bono, Google 6 hats, you'll find lots of information that I think could be helpful in bringing us to some more meaningful, effective, collaborative, innovative, exciting meetings as we journey ever forward. Effective, efficient, good, brilliant meetings. Another thing that I've got a bee in my bonnet about is that we are so meeting driven and we do nothing between the meetings. We need to stop lurching from meeting to meeting, but actually use the online resources that we have at our disposal to communicate, to bounce ideas around between the meetings. I was being chased up by a colleague recently. When are we next meeting for such and such? And I was thinking, is there any point in organising another meeting? Because I know that no one has looked at the shared document online or made any comments on it. We need to use the technology that is at our disposal so that we can be more effective, be more efficient in all that we're doing. I see that some have found the like button. Good to know that someone's actually watching this live. And I hope to come on hopefully every Wednesday at 12 noon and just to share a few thoughts. I see a comment there. Neil is saying, years ago I went to a business meeting where they had physical hats of the different colours and you actually put them on in a sequence. It did help with the different ways of thinking. Yeah, they're metaphorical hats, but it could be fun to have actual hats and to use them. And obviously the sequence in which you have the different thinking might depend on the occasion. If you're trying to find new ideas, a solution to a problem, then the green creative thinking might be given a prior place before the black and the yellow thinking, the pros and the cons, but allow the generation of ideas. I think sometimes we think that anything that's been worked on is wasted if it's not implemented. I recall a meeting years ago, pre-COVID, one of these real meetings in a meeting room, and there'd been a long conversation about a possibility. And the conclusion was that there was no mileage in going down that route. And most of the folk in the meeting were so apologetic to the folk who had put the thought into coming up with a possibility. And I was thinking, you know, we need to get away from this thinking. We need to generate bad ideas. We need to generate the bad ideas and to take time to reflect upon whether that might be something to run with or not. I hope you all have lots of ideas and have a wee think about 6 hats. Yeah, the comment there, my folk just love sitting around a physical table. These ideas are going to work whether around a physical table or around a Zoom or a Teams table. I look forward to getting to a real meeting, and the kind of meeting that I really miss are the times when we gather together, we know that we're going to be taking some time bouncing around ideas, and there's flip charts and post-it notes, and we're being creative and energized in that whole process. I'm not really looking forward to the meetings where we're just sitting around a table listening to folk bumping their gums. I'm going to leave it there just now. If you've got any other comments, pop them into the chat, and next week we'll pick up on some other thoughts around technology, leadership and change. God bless you all. Bye.